Hello, hello, and welcome to episode number 126 of CoCreative NoCode's Office Hours. I'm your host, Tonya. We're here with our members, Brittany, Ben, Jay, and Thomas, my partner, Pablo, and Kim is here as well. We're going to get started in just a moment here, but if this is your first time tuning in, maybe live on Facebook or watching the replay on YouTube, we do office hours every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then we're going to chat with Pablo later because we've got some new hours that we're going to be adding soon. And he gets to control when those are. So we'll touch base on that in just a moment. And what office hours is we invite our members, they can come to our Zoom sessions and ask any bubble question that they want or bring up any bubble topic that they want, and we will try to tackle it here. We can't promise you answers because we don't have them all ourselves, but we do pretty good, and you won't suffer alone. That is our promise. Let's go ahead and get started now. I'm going to stop sharing and let Brittany share. She's going to start with her question today.
Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, so my question is, so we made it to where the work orders are in this option set. It shows how many work orders allowed. Mm-hmm. So what I thought about was, when the next month comes, because we have it here, the frequency as 30 days, and on the yearly ones, we have the frequency as, or the annual ones, we have the frequencies as 365 days. So I've noticed maybe two issues. So when the next month comes, I don't want the work orders to roll over. So how am I supposed to, I don't even know if I have anything set up for like a reoccurring work order balance to be reset. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't want them to pile up. I don't want it to be like with the basic, if they didn't use the 3, I don't want it to end up being 6.
Got it. So I do think we have something to do with your subscriptions. Like when it redoes the subscription, we added that number to the existing. So we would just have to take out the existing from the equation.
Okay, so say this is the basic member. This is when they first sign up as whatever member they want to be. So we have it set up here. This work orders credits.
Yeah, because remember, so that one I would leave the same because I know you don't want them to roll over, but if they purchase like 3 or 4 work order credits individually and don't use them, I don't think you want those to expire.
No,
I don't. Sign up. Yeah, so I would leave that the same. But what we need to do is for the, we need to set up probably a webhook from Stripe to let you know when the user's subscription has successfully charged again.
Okay.
And that way we know to reset their work orders. The trickiness is going to be if you don't want them to roll over month to month, is how are we going to figure that out if we're maintaining the credits for the individual ones that you let them have?
Right. I stopped sharing because I didn't want to share anything
in Stripe.
Yeah.
No, thank you. We appreciate that.
But okay, let me make sure.
And I am dealing with all kinds of things Stripe because I'm trying to rework the subscriptions for pro no coders. So
let's see.
We'll be right back. I got to close this office door that the cat's opened.
Okay.
So what are you checking in Stripe?
I'm signing in. I had to.
Okay.
They're sending me the verification. 6. Okay, now I can share. I'm on test mode here. Okay.
Cool.
So now we need to go. Oh, this thing is in the way. I need to go to my. Are we going to start with the actual subscriptions here?
Yep. So I'm trying to remember how to do this. So the first thing we need to do, I guess, would be click where it says developers. Or actually, do you want me to show this on my Stripe so we can be sure we're not showing anything?
Sure.
It shouldn't be. Okay. All right, let me get mine pulled up. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we want to set up a webhook like that. So we're going to listen to Stripe events. So we'll add an endpoint. And the endpoint that we want is we're going to create the endpoint on our end, but we have to see what the received, like what the events are. It's been a while since I've done this, but set up your webhook endpoint to receive live events. Okay, so to set up the webhook, I'm going to go to my backend workflows. I'm going to call it Stripe event. And for right now, I'm just going to make this happen. I would probably worry about authentication otherwise. I'm going to set the parameter definition to detect request data. And then I'm going to click this button, detect data. And then initially, this is the endpoint, AKA URL that I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste in here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say receive subscription subscription charge successes. That's what I'm going for. So I'm not am I listening to connected accounts? Nope, because that's not what your subscription is related to. So I'm going to add this endpoint. Oh, I have to select what to listen to. And I want to listen to charges and see what my availability here. Charge succeeded. I think that's what I'm listening for. Let's see if they're saying anything down here about subscriptions. Select all subscriptions, schedule, cancel. No, I'm still interested in charges, I think. So this is research we still need to do to test, but basically I want to select this charge thing and I want to send it in anytime a charge succeeds in my Stripe. I want to send the event into this endpoint here.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and add the endpoint. Right. And now it knows what I'm listening for. And so I can send a test event. So what's going to happen is when I click that send test event, it's going to send information to this URL here. And it's going to give me a bunch of information here. So send it, send the test. So I come in here and it sent that information. And this is all the information that I'm going to be getting from Stripe every time that there's a successful charge on my Stripe account.
Okay.
Right? This is a lot of information. Probably I don't need most of it. So I could go through and I could ignore the things that I don't need. But I'll just keep all of it for now. And I'll say yes. Let's save this. Now, two things or one thing. So this worked. So I can go ahead and cancel out of this because this is already working. And then I need to edit this because I have to take the initialize part off. So I've sent a test event. Now I want to update details and I want to take this initialize off. And update the endpoint. I already sent the test event. Maybe I should have clicked something other than cancel. Why is it keep doing that? I'm not sure why it keeps doing this. Well, it says it's enabled. So I think we're good to go because it's enabled and it doesn't have this initialize in here. So now the question is, what do we want to do with that information? So in this workflow here, I want to go ahead and create something in my database to capture it. You probably already have what you need in your database to capture it. So I'll capture a charge. And I just want to capture the charge ID every time one of those comes through. So now I'm going to go back to my backend workflows here. I'm going to say create a new thing and it'll be a charge. And I'll set the charge ID to the request data's probably ID. That's the thing that makes the most sense here. So now to test this, I have to go in and see. I was playing around with this yesterday. So employees, let's just make sure that there's I'm just looking to see if subscriptions have charge IDs or not on the payments. Because you're using the subscription in Stripe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. So probably what we're looking for is something other than the charge ID, like the charges. We probably need to explore those possible things a little bit more to figure out what we need. I'm just going to come in here to here where I was doing all of this work earlier, and I'm just going to copy this button and say charge. $100, like so. And I'll come in here. I have 2 users with credit cards on file. Use the second one. Okay, so if I come into my customers here, you can see that I just charged here. And then if I go into my back end and I go to charges, you can see an event was created here. So it sent in this. This isn't what a charge ID looks like in Stripe. They've recently changed a lot of things in Stripe. but they did send me the ID of the charge event that I was telling them to send in. So you can see now, every time something is charged in Stripe successfully, it should send that information into this thing in my database. And you can do a lot with that. So what you're looking to do specifically is you're going to look to get, have Stripe send you information every time a subscription is successfully charged to one of your subscribers, so that you can grab that information but not just grab the information, but also you can manipulate that that field for like the subscription credits. Okay. So if you want to keep the one-off work orders separate from the subscription work orders in terms of a credit system, you might have to add new fields for that. Okay. Does that make sense? So keep track of one in a one-off credit and the other in a subscription credit.
Okay, so I will probably have to do that with the basic one as well, because that one is free and it does not. So
yeah, so like that one you can just schedule on a backend workflow.
Okay.
Because since it's free, you don't need Stripe involved. Okay. So in the backend workflow, you can just set it to every month, reset that credit to 3.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But you were saying like that where they can purchase the extra 99-cent credit, work credit, I would have to separate that from what I have it as now, like in the workflow.
Yeah, so the way that you have yours set up right now is like, I forget which data type it's on, but you have
I'm trying to go check real quick. I was trying to watch to make sure I could understand what was going on.
Yeah, no worries. I don't remember if you're storing that on the user or if you were storing that like in their subscription or whatever.
I think it's under code member ID name. It's not under subscription. Okay. I really don't know where it is. Basically. Okay.
Well, when you find it, basically the idea is that you have right now you just have one credit field where you're adding and subtracting to keep track of how many work order credits they have. Right. So it's a number field. What I'm saying is that if you're going to keep the one-off separate from the subscription, then you would say subscription credits and as a number field, and then you can have one-off or whatever you would like to call it, one-off credits. Okay. So separate, and you keep track of those. And then when you're checking their credits, instead of checking one or the other fields, you'll check the one plus the other.
Okay, I understand. I get you, but I'm going to
because their total credits at any given time is going to be their one-off credits plus their subscription credits. Now their subscription credits will be, they'll start at 5 at the beginning of the month, I think it is, and then they might or might not use 5, but every month it gets reset to 5.
Right, that's what I'm wanting. So if I'm sorry, I'm trying to put it all together.
Yeah, no worries. So the first thing that we have to do is, and I think I still owe you some answers about Stripe, and I'm working with Stripe and subscriptions on my own right now, so I'm learning a lot about it. But the first thing is we have to figure out what the information is from Stripe that you need sent into your app. All right. The second thing we need is we need a way of tracking one-off credits separately from subscription credits.
Okay, and I found where it is under the user.
Okay, did you want to share your screen?
Yes. Okay, so I have it under the user as work order credits and just a number. So I need to make another field in I guess I don't know what extra credits, I guess. I don't know. And then okay. So now I would need to go back into the workflow to change this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this work order credits plus work orders allowed.
So is work order credits going to be for subscription only?
Yes, let's just make that one. Yeah, the
Okay,
subscription only
so
credit.
then you can just take this user's work order credits. I don't know. I might leave that.
Okay.
Is this just the initial? Yeah, this is just
Yeah,
the
this is
initial one when they click.
So when they want to change, well,
Yeah, I then just put this user subscription types work orders allowed and just reset it at the time that they click that button.
okay. So this work orders credits plus this subscription.
Yeah, I would just delete the whole thing and start over.
Oh, okay.
Like, no, I just
This.
delete,
Okay.
no, or yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so work order credits equals
This users. There you go.
okay.
And then you just have to change it for the one-off to store it separately. So wherever they're buying the one work orders at a time.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So that will be on the settings. It's in the pop-up. Okay. Gotta go find the pop-up. Here you go. Is that right?
Yep, because they're allowed to buy they're allowed to buy more than one at a time, right?
Right.
Yep, I think that's right.
So when on the initial one that we just changed to just say this plan's work order subscription type allowed or whatever.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
did it-
Work order credits it should be the one off the other field that you made.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
No, you'll have to delete that whole
The whole
thing or change. I don't know. Click on where it says work order credits. No, the white part.
oh,
There you
gotcha.
go. Yeah. So
What's it?
it's extra credits.
Yeah.
Is that what you called it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then plus one. Well, this user's extra credits plus one.
Okay, so when I'm just trying to get an understanding in the data, I have it. So when are we using this? Are we not using work order credits at all anymore? Because
No, we are. You refer to how many credits they have. That's how you track how many subscription credits they have left in their current billing cycle.
okay,
Yeah. So
Okay.
you reset that to be whatever the number is at the beginning of the month, and then you're referencing that anytime that they need to use a work order, but you're not referencing that. What you're doing is you're referencing the sum of that with the sum of the extra credits. So
Okay.
when they try to use a work order, you're going to have to check both of those fields to see if they have any. So what you'll do is you'll say, you'll allow them to create a new work order if the sum of extra credits plus work order credits is greater than 0.
Okay, so I would need to find where that is because I need to change that.
And then I would, yeah.
Work order, work order. So really click and Stripe ID card is not empty. Yes. Okay.
Where are you checking
Well,
how many they have credit for?
um,
Because I know we tested that to make sure it was
yeah,
working.
yeah. What did I? Where did this- It was even before they clicked the. Oh, hold on. It's in one of these pop-ups. What's the name of it? No work orders left. Okay. Here we go. Well, how do we?
So you're not even showing them the button if they don't have
Right. If
work
they don't
orders.
have any
Okay,
work
so it's on a conditional somewhere.
um,
So that would be in the design tab, not in the workflows.
it's
So
not
that's
yet
after
clicked.
they've already,
Yeah.
they
It has
don't
to be
have
on
it.
this button. No.
No.
Okay. No.
Okay, well, here's how you find it. Go to the app search tool up at the top, the magnifying glass, and you say uses field. And then type name user. And then work order credits. There, and it's somewhere in there.
No. Work order about.
I'm going to let you search through those so I can
Okay.
take some more questions, but we'll come back to
Okay.
it, okay?
Alrighty.
Awesome. All right, let's see here. Ben, you have made the reusable elements for your talent projects, brands, repeating groups, but you're not seeing the option to show a pop-up. So do you want to share your screen?
Sure.
So the trick is which reusable is the pop-up in that you want to show?
Well, it's on the application.
It's on the page application.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would move it into the reusable.
Move it into the reusable.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So even your pop-ups. So when you move like your different groups and things into reusables, I would include the pop-ups that are related to those things.
Oh,
So,
okay. So I need to make reusables out of all the pop-ups as well to be able to
no,
use them.
not all of the pop-ups. I would say like when you say you've created reusables, show me what you mean. Like
all
show
of
me the
these are now.
reusables. Okay. So most of what you see on your page is in a reusable, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
All of the cards across the whole site are now reusables.
Are now reusables. Okay. So the pop-ups that are related to each specific group of cards will go in with that reusable for those cards.
Okay, I'm still a little lost there.
Okay, got it. So show me which pop-up do you want to show that you're not seeing the option to open it?
Okay, for example, so with say for this example, it used to, when you clicked on the press release, it animated a floating group, but I'm now not seeing an option to do that in the backend in the workflows.
Right. So what I'm saying is you would move that floating group into that same reusable where you're clicking. So all of the buttons that are in reusables have access to what's in that reusable. They can only have access to, I don't even know if the reusable has access to the state other than its own state. So what you can do is you can just right click. And then were you copying with workflows? Is that how you moved things into reusables?
No, I just converted into reusables and then that was about it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So if you copy with workflows, actually, before you do anything, make a save point. go to development and make a save point and say Tonya's advice, good or bad. Okay. Yeah. And now, yeah, so you've copied it with workflows. Now go to that reusable where you were clicking to try to get it to open. So that card, go to, yep, edit that element. And then now right click outside of that, just right click and paste with workflows. All right, now you have more issues because you still have to tie all of this up, right? But now you have it so that it's in that reusable. So the button click from the reusable that should open this floating group, you can connect the two because now this will be an option available to you. And after you get it working, you can delete that from the other page, the one that you copied, you can delete it, but I would get it working here first.
I am so lost. This seems such an odd way to do it. I don't understand at all.
Why? Okay, so I know reusables can be a bit of a bit of a reach for your mind, but the reusable is just a page. The only difference between a reusable and a page is you can't send someone to the reusable via URL. You have to place the reusable on another page in order for people to see it and interact with it, right? So everything that you can do in a regular bubble page, you can do in a reusable. And the way that you access things is through having them locally available in the reusable, or you could put them in their own reusables. The thing is you don't want to have more reusables than you actually need. Now, it's not a problem to have a lot of reusables. You just don't want to make a reusable for every pop-up in your app, right? So the best way, I think, is to have your floating groups and pop-ups that you need to have them in the reusables where you're going to be using them, or you could have a separate reusable just to hold all of your pop-ups that you need. And then put that reusable in the header of your app so it's accessible all the time. Now, here's a trick. Not a trick. Here's how it works. If you have, let's say, do you want me to show you on mine so you're not experimenting in yours? Yeah. So if I come here and I decide I'm going to make a reusable for all the pop-ups. All right, and now I can make as many pop-ups as I want. So I'll make one pop-up. So that's pop-up A. Then I'll make another one, click out of it and say pop-up B. Now I can make a button here on this reusable, and just like a regular page, if I want to, I can use show and I can grab pop-up A or B, right? That's pretty normal. But what's also really cool is I can make a custom event, and I can call this show pop-up A. And I can here show pop-up A. And I can copy and paste and call this one show pop-up B. And switch this to B. Now on this page where I was before, I can go down here to all the pop-ups, place this reusable on this page. I can even make the reusable itself really tiny, right? As long as it's on the page. And now I can make a new button here. Actually, leave that one, change this one. Okay, so now I have two buttons. So for show pop-up A, I'm going to come here to where it says custom events. I'm going to trigger a custom event from a reusable element. I only have one reusable on the page. And it's going to show me the custom events that belong to that reusable. So I can show pop-up A. So remember, pop-up A isn't a reusable. The reusable isn't this page, it's just on this page. But I can preview this now. And even though the pop-up isn't on my page specifically, I can show that pop-up.
Okay.
Right. And the idea of doing that is you want, for one-page apps like yours, I don't know how long your page is or how deep it is, but I'm guessing you have a lot of stuff there. And all of the stuff that's going there, you want to minimize the things that are actually on that page. You want to minimize the elements that are actually on that page. You want to minimize the number of workflows that are on that page. Any way that you can minimize the workflows and the elements on the page will improve your editor speed and will improve your page load speed. So that's when I say move everything into reusables, I don't mean each element goes into its own reusable. I mean, the way I divide it is I think of all the things that are actually showing like at one time when I scroll, those would go into a reusable. And then any of the pop-ups, any of the workflows, any of the things that are cleanly belonging to that would go into that reusable as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Did that answer your question or did that make things more confusing?
Both.
Okay.
At the same time.
At the same time. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have one of those aha moments where I get it and
then it'll sink in. So like
maybe it's 4:30 a.m. here that I'm not quite getting it, but I'm sure I will.
Sure. Well, so the other thing I'm not sure if you're doing or not is, are you building vertically down the page and then collapsing the height of things to get things to show?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So basically anything that would be showing at one time, even if you have to scroll to see it all, that's what I would put into a reusable. If that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm making it worse.
No, not at all. What sorry.
It's a tricky one. I struggled with reusables and then I struggled Also with option sets. Those were two mental hangups for me when I was learning. So, and I'm still learning. Yeah, but the idea of having, like, when you're on a page, I would say you don't want these things on the page when you're doing a portal page or when you're doing like a one-page app. You would want this in a reusable on the page, and then learn how to transfer the information back and forth.
Okay.
All right. And then we're here to tackle individual questions. So like in your app, you just put that floating group in the reusable, right?
Yeah, I just did. But the problem I'm having is it resized the card to like this enormous thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, because you can create collapsing effects in that reusable at the same time. So maybe Pablo, do you have a different, or you could put the floating group and it's like I said, like have a pop-ups reusable or floating groups reusable. What do you think, Pablo?
I was thinking that maybe in this case, he could communicate with the floating group via the URL parameters, because the reusable elements actually, you can use the customer stage, but also the URL parameters, right? So if a card was clicked, that was when the floating group should show up, right? When the card was clicked.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So maybe by clicking the card, you set up a URL parameter, and then you have something like do when this URL parameter is show floating group, and then you show the floating, something like this. But I don't really understand why when you click the card, you cannot directly show the floating group. Like if you have the workflow in the page. You know what I mean? Because I saw that it was like a repeating group of floating groups of reusable elements. I don't know if that was, but if that's it, like what happens if you put a normal workflow, like when a group is clicked, show the floating group? Why is it?
I can show
this?
you. So, for example, I've got like these brand cards, and then I'm trying to do the what am I trying to do?
So not here, but in the page, because here it's normal. Is what you said. You don't have access to the floating group that's in the page.
Gotcha. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm trying to make the workflow on the reusable instead of on the page.
I have to say that what Tonya explained is really important anyway, to be able to treat the custom events from reusable elements. But I find myself using it especially for pop-ups, which is the main explanation was focused on that. So that's good. Maybe in this case, we can make it easier.
Pablo, you do know you don't have to agree with me, right?
I know.
So where on this repeating group would I start on the workflow?
Yeah, so that's a reusable element, but you can put that into a group. So if you right click and there's group elements in a group, now you're gonna have that in a group in a second. Yeah, and you can start a workflow from there. And I think that should work. Maybe it doesn't, but.
Yeah, it should, because you're on the page, so you should have access to it.
And I'll be able to push the data from that single reusable, because it's inside the repeating group.
So if you show the floating group, and then we can try to do like some other stuff.
Sorry, my computer is so slow. It's
Yeah, it always happens when we're sharing a screen in Zoom. I like the design of the app. It's pretty.
that's pretty much all I've spent my time on is how to design in Bubble. It's the workflows and stuff. I still get completely lost. The design stuff I'm really kind of getting into.
But it looks amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, did that issue that you brought up the other day resolve itself or no?
Which one was that?
I think didn't you reach out and you like a lot of things had like suddenly started looking strange in your app?
Sometimes it has and sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes these cards, this icon will be down here and then there'll be an extra, 3 centimeters long for some reason. And then sometimes they're fine. I don't understand it. Maybe it's responsiveness, I guess.
Mhm.
Come on, Flexbox.
They said, yeah, but even if they release the opt-in beta, you'd have to redo your whole.
Yeah.
Like it's not backwards compatible. So I think of it as something for new apps, not for something for existing apps, unless you're ready to do a major UI refactor.
There you go. It's definitely showing the element now.
I know you said you wanted to send some information, right?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a little bit trickier if it's inside the reusable element.
Best way to access that group that we just made.
Yeah, so all the information is from parent group's talent, right? Because then you can in the group you can have as a data source the current sales group talent. So in the group that you're actually in the if you go down in the elements, so click again on the reusable. Oh yeah, you can check it in the elements tree as well, but it's easier if you go here in the options and you just below the ID attribute, there should be an option. Yeah, elevate down, go down.
There is no down.
There's no down. Oh yeah, it's up there. Select parent child. On top of revealing the elements tree, on top of that button, yeah, over there, you can select the parent. So that's really useful when you're trying to find like the group that contains an element. And in this case, is the first one, group talent. Yeah, and here, yeah, so it's already selected current sales talent, which is good. So when you click on the workflow and you're showing the floating group, you can also display data on the floating group or on the elements inside the floating group, I think.
When I go to application.
And the data that you want to display is the parent group's talent, right? Or this group's talent or current sales talent. Actually, yeah, it wouldn't have a matter. It didn't have a data source. But then you're gonna have to make sure that if you display the current sales talent, that the element application or the element that you want to have with data inside the floating group, it has to be of type talent. So if you check the floating group.
Yeah, it is. It's the talent floating group. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So type of content is talent. That's good. So when you're displaying data, you were displaying it in something called application. That was the page, but you want to display it in that group. So in the workflow, you have to display it in that particular floating group.
So display data, application.
Yeah, but in the element,
so I need to go to the this, don't I?
that's right.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into what Tonya was saying, because I think going through and setting up those on every card across the whole site or every repeating group almost nullifies part of setting up the reusable elements, doesn't it? Like you want that function to work on all the reusable elements, not on setting up groups in each of the repeating groups. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think what you should always set up in the reusable element are the pop-ups, and the floating group, it depends. Like in this case, it's probably easier to do it this way.
Right.
We're doing it.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, this is what I mean about how this is completely out of whack now. I don't know why it keeps happening on the side.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
weird.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
definitely weird. Like,
something related to responsiveness, but I don't know what's different in that
well,
artist.
they were having, I mean, there were multiple reports of like things like this happening in apps. They said that they were rolling out a fix for it, but so I'm hesitant to try to fix it in case it's Bubble and not you. Because if you fix it and then Bubble changes something, then it could be broken again. So
Yeah, I mean, and what's funny is I'll reload the page and that will be gone. It'll be completely fine.
I think then it's definitely Bubble, because it doesn't make sense that good. And then,
for launch and user experience, the last thing you want is for that to just keep. See, now it's happening on that one. It just keeps changing which one it's. But it's totally fine on this one.
that's so strange. I would report it to Bubble, because then Bubble can tell you whether or not it's them or something else. So.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Have you reported a bug to Bubble before?
Nope.
Let me show you. So
I spam their support email quite often though.
oh, you what? You spam their support URL? Is that what you just said?
Their support email, like every day.
Oh,
almost like, hey, how do I do this?
Oh, got it. And do they answer you?
Yeah, all the time. Inside maybe 12 hours.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's really good. Yeah. So a bug report is a little bit different than sending a support email. It's when you think there's something actually wrong with Bubble. So if you go to bubble.io/bug_report, you open it up, and it's a logic-based form that you're doing here. So first you say the bug happens when I'm building, or when I build an app, build a plugin, or when I manage my account. So in most cases it's build an app. The urgency of this bug, you can tell them how urgent it is. Like if it's blocking app development, or if the production app is completely broken, or if it's just causing issues in production. So you can select that, give them this information, select your application name, which your list probably won't be so long. Then your application version, which version you're seeing the bug in, and a link to the editor. If you choose the right combinations of things, they might actually ask you for login credentials.
Okay.
I just give them over. I think it's really silly, but whatever. Like they should be able to log in and get to wherever they need to go without that. But whatever. Then your bug symptoms, I would make a Loom video of it and just paste the link to the Loom, and they'll look at the Loom video that you send, and then talk about the steps. But most of the time I just save my time and I just show them in a Loom video. It's easier. And then you send the report and they'll get back to you. So I didn't send in a bug report until after I worked at AirDev, because I just assumed that all of the problems were me. So if you ever want to know if I think the problem is you or Bubble, just let me know and I'll make the best determination that I can. So,
Awesome.
It was the same for me. And then I submitted a bug and Bubble reached out and said like, yeah, you're right. This is a bug and we need to solve it. And then you feel so good. You're like, okay, this wasn't me.
I wasn't crazy.
I only spent 7 hours trying to fix it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, how many times have we done that? Like, yeah. I often will wait and not put in a bug report about something like that if I know something like that is going on for other people, because they've reported it and I just wait for Bubble to fix it. But in this case, it's been lingering for a few days. So I definitely go ahead and reach out.
Also, another quick question. Sorry, it's not really a question, more just a note. I know, Tonya, you're pretty in deep with AppSumo. It seems like you use it quite a lot. But have you tried Secret yet, the new one?
No, what is it called?
It's called Secret, and the website's joinsecret.com, but it's like AppSumo, but more for like SaaS products and founders. So it's like, you know, get $1,500 worth of Airtable credits and AWS Active and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
But you get your first $30,000 worth of Stripe with no fees. So I thought that could be interesting.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I use AppSumo for lifetime deals. These look less like lifetime and more like coupons or discounts.
It's
that you
more
can get.
if you're starting up something, like if you're starting like a new product or a new something, then this will give you like a year's worth of everything for free, so you can get on your feet. But I thought it was kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You know that a few months ago, or maybe like a year ago or so, when I discovered Join Secret, there was also an offer for Bubble, and it was like $500 in credits or something like that, and it was amazing. And then they removed it. But,
I bet they did.
When
I had a meeting yesterday. They're
Yeah,
bringing Bubble back on the platform, apparently.
Oh,
Wait,
they are trying to bring it back.
Yeah, it's coming back. Yeah.
That would be so cool. Yeah.
Got it. And so how does this work exactly? You like sign up for free, but then you have to pay for it?
You have to
So I
pay,
think
yeah,
it's
I paid like $60 or $50 for the year subscription, or yeah, it's probably $40 then, and it was definitely worth it because I got the 500 credits for Bubble. But then they removed Bubble, and I didn't want to renew it again. And anyway, like I renew it; it was renewed automatically. And shout out to their team, because I reached out and said like, hey, this was renewed, but I don't really want it, and they refunded. So that was pretty nice from them.
I wonder if they
don't know,
went by a different name like a couple years ago, because I signed up to something that was very much like this, but it was much more like I don't know, wasn't as polished as this.
I know. I thought for $49 getting, you know, $1,500 worth of Airtable credits even is, you know, pretty worthwhile.
Yeah, I should probably do that. I pay Airtable $24 per month.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I mean, I use it $24 worth per month, so that's good.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I love Airtable. I've been in, I think I haven't counted it up recently, but I was bringing so many people to Airtable that they paid like $500 worth of credits for me just by referring, like sending people links to my Airtables, and then they would sign up. So, but then I learned about this thing called Bubble. A bit distracting. All right. Let's see. Jay, did you have anything? I know you said your one question got solved. Do you have another?
Yeah, I have a repeating group that isn't displaying the way I want it to display, and I'm wondering if I'm missing something
Cool.
obvious or if I have to rethink what I did, which I hope not.
I hope not too.
There are so many conditions in this that I really don't want to redo it. Okay, can you guys see the purple page?
You can.
This is what it's supposed to look like. So this hinges on there being 5. It's bingo. You need a grid that's 5 by 5. I could change it, I guess, but 3 by 3 is a little too easy. The problem is, of course, that over here, it's not displaying 5 by 5. It's doing what repeating groups do. And it's, well, in this case, I mean, it's showing 5 down, but it's cutting off the right. I remember I had this problem, similar problem in something else, and it was something to do with the max number of cells or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or do you know how I can fix this is really the question. I have it set for fixed number of cells, 5 by 5, but it doesn't shrink. Maybe this is the problem.
Yes, that could definitely be the problem. Is it just me or is Bubble loading slower in the last week? Like just in general. That made it worse.
That did make it worse.
Okay, well, by making it not fixed width, then it was able to shrink and like have things like go underneath.
Yes.
So
So
if you,
go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to think. I'm not the responsive expert here. And definitely not a responsive expert with repeating groups and with columns. So I think it's probably a lot of experimentation, but I'm wondering if anybody else in the gallery has any ideas.
Jay, what do you want to do exactly? Like you want to keep the 5 vegetables and then like make the image smaller or something like this?
I could make the whole table. Yeah, it needs to be a 5 by 5 grid. I could make the images smaller and build the whole grid on a like 280 or 300. But and maybe that would work. Maybe that would look okay on a bigger screen.
I mean,
It's just
you can
hard to work with.
I get what you want. Like it makes sense for the vegetables to be bigger if you're on a bigger screen. So
Yeah.
probably you have 2 repeating groups, like one for desktop and one for mobile. Like this is not what I would usually do, but if you have like such a specific need, it could be worth making 2 different repeating groups and one that is like 300 pixels specifically for mobile.
That actually will probably be the fastest solution. So I'll try that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Was that it, Jay?
I don't have a way to show you the other thing I'm trying to do. We've talked about it before.
Okay.
And maybe Pablo will have another idea since the ones that we talked about aren't really practical. So what this is supposed to be is this is supposed to be a repeating group that shows like, let me show you a different way. Good Lord. It's taking forever.
Yeah, there's something going on. I think they're getting ready to launch the beta of the responsive, and they're having to make some changes to accommodate that.
Desperate to get my hands on that thing. I cannot wait to try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't tried it yet, and I want to try it.
Yeah. Okay, so in the same way, like this is the flowers that the user I'm logged in as has. So every month it shows this user has red flowers blooming, white flowers blooming, yellow flowers blooming. So that's what this is. And if this user adds blue flowers in June, then you're going to see an image of a blue flower in June. Okay, so I want to do something similar here, but instead what I want is it for to be columns, where if I have 3 tomato plants, there's a tomato icon here, one beneath it, one beneath it. And if I've got 4 basil plants, a basil icon down, 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 down 4 times, all the way across. So they get like a visual representation. There's no real functionality to this. It's strictly to be engaging and, you know, fun. It's got no real purpose, but I want to do that. So the problem is when I tried it in various ways, I can get a tomato. The only way it worked was to do this. App data. Was I added a field in my plants of, where the heck is it? Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. An icon list. It's somewhere in here. I don't know where it went. There it is. And so if someone has a tomato, then there's an icon of a tomato stored here. It doesn't really need to be a list. The problem with that, though, is that, you know, I don't know if they have a tomato, not all vegetable. Then I have to find a way to automatically add that icon, which I don't think will be very reliable and accurate, because, you know, there's the odd vegetable that isn't called what it is. I may not be able to teach, but to tell Bubble what to look for is what I'm saying. I guess I could do a search, you know, like when they add a plant, does it have the word tomato in the title? But if it doesn't have that word, but it is a tomato, it won't show. So I was thinking that maybe a better way, I don't know if this is any better actually, would be to have some kind of condition here where this displays if the user has a my plant that is, well, that has tomato in the title, I suppose. I don't know. Can you guys think of a better way to do this, or a way to do it?
I'm not sure. I mean, right now, right here, like I can give it a thought, and for next office hours, or I'll send you a message later, because it sounds complicated.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so too. All right, I appreciate that. Thanks.
So you're trying to, I mean, you're trying to show a specific number of tomato icons depending on how many, like if it's a tomato plant, like instead of showing them that you have 12 tomato plants, you want to show them 12 tomato icons.
Yes.
And we kind of worked through that a little bit with the list of numbers. Do you remember that a couple weeks ago?
There was some reason that it didn't, we talked about it, but it didn't end up really working. Because I think, as I recall, because there wasn't clarity on the data side of what the plants the user had, like whether they were tomatoes or what. And then there was a lot of weird, well, a number of weird ones. Like there's something called garlic chives. Are they chives? Or are they garlic? How's Bubble going to figure that out? You know what I mean? With a search, it's not.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll talk later.
No, you can talk now. I didn't have anything material.
I was gonna ask, like, so you want to show the number of tomatoes, but how many other things? Like, are we talking about hundreds of things, maybe 10 things, 5 things? You know what I mean? Like, apart from tomatoes, what other things?
Whatever vegetables they have in their garden. So it could be anywhere from one, it could, and I think most people, like the most dedicated, maybe they have 40 or 60 things, which would have to be, I mean, that's an outlier. So I think most people probably have 5 to 12 kinds of vegetables.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky. Okay.
Yeah, and I need it to be automated, obviously. I mean, it has to be something that where when they add that tomato to their my plants list, that that's findable, not that I have to go in and say, oh, yep, John Smith added a tomato. Let me put that icon on the list.
Yeah. Because I was thinking of having like preset images, with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tomatoes, I don't know, 10, 15. And if you have like 5 types of things, then that's feasible. You have maybe 5 times 15 images, and then you just do a search, and depending on the number of plants that are related to a tomato, you show one image or the other, and you do that for the 5 type of things. And that's something that could be easy, but if you have like 40 or 60, I don't think that's something that's really feasible or performant. So yeah, we'll have to think of
that. How you just said it, that's how this is set up. Each of these icons has a condition that does a search. And then something else you just said about doing the search here. So that would be not, I thought about that too, like doing it the way I did year and color, the other thing, because that works. But the problem then leads to this. These are the number of types of vegetables and herbs that I have so far, and there's going to be more. So that would be massive. I mean, there's like 40 kinds in here, and I'm missing a bunch.
Oh, you're on mute, Pablo. We can't hear you.
Yeah, no, so I will have to think about it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, sorry.
No, I appreciate the help. At least, reality check, if nothing else. It's only for fun, but I think that it's worth it for me to put the effort in to have something visual right when you hit that page. It's entertaining. And the alternative is to take it out, put a game up there, like put the bingo up top. But but I kind of just want to make this work because I started it. Now I want to finish it.
Got it. All right. Well, we're swinging back around. Brittany, do you want to work some more on that issue?
Yes. So I found where actually I was working on what you were telling me, the webhook, but I'm going to go back to where the I think I already changed it, but I just want to make sure I did it correctly.
Mommy, can you just step on the TV, please?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Go ask your sister.
But,
I'm sorry. Hold on.
It's okay. No worries. Pets and children. I got these 2 perches for the cats, and I put them on my windowsill without really thinking about how often I need to have my door closed. So now my cats try to break into my office a lot.
Okay, so it was on a conditional on the pop-up here only when current users work order credits plus, and then this is what I added.
Yep.
Plus the current users extra credits, would be less than or equal to or more. I think that's right.
Less than or equal to 0, then you're going to show the no work orders pop up. Yep, that makes sense.
So
yep,
I got that working. So now when I went,
but go to the other one. Wait, there was another step in that same workflow.
Okay.
The first one,
First
the
one?
show submit, nope, sorry, in the same,
Here.
there. Yeah,
Oh,
so
I
only,
did-
yeah, so you need to add it there
Okay.
as well. So plus, yeah.
Uh-oh. I gotta
I
do-
mean, yeah, because otherwise if it won't do anything when you click the button because
users is
greater than 0. Yep, perfect.
okay. Now with the webhook, so I started doing it and I don't know if I did it correct. I was trying to make sure I was following, but I went through and did the test webhook. I did not save it because I wasn't sure if I was doing it right. So
Okay.
let me go here. So would it be a new, would this be the same or would it be a new one because I did one before?
No, the same. That's fine.
Okay, okay. So when hold on, I want to show, no, can I not go back?
So you're listing for charge succeeded. The part that I don't know if that's going to work with the, I mean, I assume so, but we'll have to test it and make sure. We might need to listen for something else specifically for your subscriptions being successfully charged. But
Oh.
I hope this one works.
Okay. So I sent this and then I didn't save
Like
this.
magic. Isn't that like magic? Just
Yes,
like every
cool.
time it works, I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
every time it works is amazing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's so much easier. Yeah. So
Should I save it or should I not? Because I,
yeah,
And
I
then-
mean, it doesn't hurt. You can go ahead and
Okay.
save it.
okay. And so I forgot what we were doing after that. I was trying to keep going.
Got it. So what we have to figure out is, so the one thing that we have to figure out is we have to know that, well, the reason we're using this right now specifically is so you can reset their work orders if they've successfully been charged for their subscription. But some other things that you might also want to do when they're successfully charged is you might want to keep track of every charge and attribute it to a user, right? And also like keep track of like for future analytics and things. You would want to know if we also probably want a webhook in there for failed charges so you can let them know that it didn't work so that they have an opportunity to like update their card or have you run it again or something. So there are lots of different things that we might want to do. So the one thing that we know we want to do on this event is if it's a successful charge, let's pretend that we figured out how to send the successful subscription charge in through this webhook. So
Okay.
add an action and then make changes to a thing. And it's going to be the current user, but do we even know who the current user is in this situation?
No.
How do we know who the current, yeah, exactly. We have to figure out who the current user is. So we've got the request data. Let's go look at the request data, like what's coming in. So go to Stripe. Because they're telling us what they're sending over.
How do I?
Oh, sorry, you were there already.
Oh, I'm
It's okay.
sorry.
No worries.
So how do I get back to that? Do I
You
need
could
to
just send
do a-
test webhook.
okay.
That's fine. Now we've got to figure out who the customer is, right? So they'll probably send a customer ID or something like that.
Yeah. Or email.
Yep. Email. Yep, that would work.
Okay.
So like we'd have to grab the email and so do a search for, and then user where email equals request data,
Oh, got you.
email.
Mm,
So it's not an object
Billing David, our receipt. No, let me go back.
billing details email, probably. We could figure out which one, we could test it if it's not the right one. And then the first, no, you just need to change the thing to change where it says search for users. You just need to click first item. Yep, and then change another field. And then you would change the work orders to being this user's subscriptions allowed work orders or work orders allowed. Yep, and that's it. So that was the whole reason that we started down this rabbit hole of webhooks was so that when they are successfully charged, we want to know it so we can reset their work order credits. But there's a lot of other things that we're probably going to want to do as well.
Okay. So how would I test this theory if I don't know?
Yeah, so you can test to see if the webhook is working.
By just signing in and
You probably have to go back to Stripe and take off that initialize part.
oh, okay.
So just cancel out of there and then edit, update details. And just take the initialize piece off. So we know how to get it to trigger a successful charge.
This little thingy is in my way. I can't even see the save button from
Okay.
there we go. Did I
Oh,
click save?
I
or
can't. No,
cancel?
you can't. You
Oh.
canceled.
You know, I know it may sound. I don't think you guys can see the. You know,
We
the
can't
button
see
at
it,
the
but we know
bottom,
the
but-
pain. Here, I'll tell you when you're on it. Go to the right a little bit.
Okay, is it here?
Nope, move your mouse to the right. Oh, now I can't see your mouse moving.
What is going on?
Is there like an arrow where you can move it so you can see?
I can't move the actual, and I can't move this.
Try hitting enter.
Okay.
Nope.
Yep, that didn't work. Oh my goodness, this is aggravating.
Okay, stop sharing your screen and then
Okay.
click the button and
Okay.
then you can share it again. Oh, Zoom.
Okay, got it.
You try so hard.
Okay, let me start sharing again. What? I'm not even sure why this is. Okay, here we go. All right, so now that I've updated that.
Okay. So now just to test this, you go into one of your users that is on a subscription already.
Okay. No, that's a freelancer.
And then don't click run as, just open it up. Yep. And then go to the work order credits and they have 0 right now. Is this one signed up successfully for a subscription?
I don't think so. I can't.
That's okay. You can sign them up and get them signed
Okay.
up for testing.
Wait, they should have had where? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but okay. I'll just put 3.
It could be worse. You could have a user who created like 7 different logins trying to get your app to work.
Oh, am I going to the live one? Because this is the vote.
No, no,
Okay.
we haven't tested in live yet. We're still in test mode.
All right, so I set that user up with Is it this one? Yes.
But but this user already has like the test card and everything ready to go on Stripe? Or do you need to set it up?
Yeah, I probably need to set that up. Can I find one that's already,
Yeah, that's fine.
because I don't want to go through all that. I think this one has one. Yes. Yep.
So move that down to 2 instead of 5.
Okay. What am I putting it at now?
Just put 2
Okay.
and save.
Gotcha.
Because gold monthly, it should, if it works, it'll move it to 5.
Okay.
And so now go into your app and have her buy like a one-off work order.
Okay.
So this is going to trigger the endpoint just to make sure the endpoint is working, but we still have to do the work of figuring out which event we're actually listening for.
It's moving really slow today. Okay.
Bubble is slow right now. Y'all, they struggle. It's all right.
Okay, and I'm just adding the extra work order,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah, because we're just, when you add it and it successfully happens, then Stripe should send in the webhook that there was a successful charge with, and that email should help Bubble find who it is and change their work order credits back to 5. So let's
see, something weird happened here because it was only supposed to add 1 credit because.
No, that's true. It should have done that, but it should also, so what I'm saying is we haven't figured out the exact right listing thing in Stripe. What we set it up to do is to do the same thing for any successful charge, including for the 99 cent. So I'm not saying that we're done yet. I'm just testing that we got the webhook working.
Yeah, gotcha.
So
Okay,
if you go into back into the database to that user, what we want to see is if it changed it back to 5.
It changed it to 10, but that's right. Because gold monthly is a 10 credit.
Oh, got it. Okay, perfect. All right, awesome. So we have that webhook working. Now we just have to go and figure out which event we're actually listening for. And in this case, we have to check the Stripe documentation or start scrolling through all of those possibilities and find out if there's a way to listen for a successful charge to a subscription as opposed to just to any successful charge.
Got you. So do I go to customers and look and see what they gathered, or do we want to?
No, I think it's more about if you go back to developers and like look through their list of things that you can listen for. Yeah, if you just click back into that same webhook and you go to, see, it's already showing you the logs of how it successfully ran. So go to update. If you go back to update.
Update details.
And then select events.
Okay.
So somewhere in their events, I'm wondering if there's one specifically for like a successful renewal of subscription or something. So maybe type in subscription, although the ones that we found for subscription.
Schedule cancel, completed, schedule created.
I don't know what, maybe schedule completed is it? I'm not sure. I have to go in and find out exactly what those things are.
Okay.
So.
You want to try that one, schedule completed? And then
yeah, but we got to go back and initialize again so we can see what the difference is. So maybe take off charge succeeded.
Okay.
Or if you take off that piece of it, the subscription, and we can make a new webhook and we can try a different webhook entirely.
How do I add another one?
Just click where you were to click to webhooks again.
Okay. Okay.
and then add endpoint. So
Um,
go back, yeah, go back to your bubble. In the backend.
it was in
process.
backends. Yeah.
Mhm. And then click where it says into the API. Yep, detect data, exactly. Copy.
And we did
Yeah, we want to see subscription completed if that's what we're subscription schedule completed if that's like what we're looking for. Back out of that, I don't know why. Yeah, if you just scroll down to subscription, I think it was in there. Yeah.
completed. Okay. All
I
right.
don't even know what that means.
Created occurs whenever a new subscription is created. Okay, 7 days post. Expire. Updated. I may need the updated one as well because they can change that, but I'll work on that. I'll probably do that later.
Yeah, let's just add that and see what it'll send in to us by sending in the test. Yeah, and if you go check.
Okay, now.
Oh, no, sorry, I was reading that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
Okay.
okay. I was trying to understand what was being sent in. It's easier
Okay.
for me to tell from data from Bubble's side because I'm more used to that.
Oh, I never. Okay.
And then go back to Bubble.
Okay.
Okay. So check API object. I don't even understand what that is. I don't think that's what we're looking for. I wonder what the event EVT object is, because that's what was sent in to us when we were getting the ID.
Mm-hmm. Did you see it? I didn't see it on here.
No, so like if you go back to or if I go back to what we created in the sandbox,
Mm-hmm.
when
The
we asked for the charge, the
Mhm.
successful charge to come in, it gave us an ID, and the ID started with EVT, which I think is probably stands for event. And I
Mhm.
wonder if that's like, then there's types of events, and then maybe we could tell from the type of event. But yeah, this is just going to require a little bit more digging. Did you ever sign up for that Discord with the Stripe developers Discord?
No, I have it written down right here, but I did not sign up for it yet. I guess
That might be it might be easiest just to ask in that Discord and see if
Okay.
someone can tell you what you're listening for exactly.
Okay.
Like what you want to know is you want to send in a webhook into Bubble every time a subscription is successfully charged.
Okay.
So
All right, I'll do that.
awesome. Let's see, Ben. I think Jay is gone already. Ben, did you have anything else?
Just the question about the video. You remember we were talking about the video stuff last week?
Oh yeah, okay. Yes. So yes.
I don't have a use case for it, but I just wanted to ask anyway if there was something.
Yeah, here I can show you. So if I was going to create let's see here, an October sandbox here. Let me just make a new page and call it videos from So if I was going to have video links from both YouTube and from Vimeo, then I'd probably have somewhere in my data, like a video thing. And then I could have a type, which for demonstration purposes, I could make it text, right? But I usually when I do types or statuses, I have those as option sets instead. So the type could be YouTube or Vimeo, and then I'll have a URL field or a link field or an ID field, whatever it is, and it'll be text here. So then if I'm wanting to show a video, I'm going to here, I'll have video. And then I don't know if you can grab the video source from here. So if I'm, let's put a group around it. It's going to be type video. And then here, when parent groups videos type is Vimeo, this element video ID, it's not going to let me change the type. It's not going to let me change this type. That's okay though. So is Vimeo, then this element is visible. And then I can just copy and paste.
Gotcha. Okay.
And do the opposite one for YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. And so it'll show one when it's Vimeo, one when it's YouTube, and that's the way I would do it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And you still had some left on that list or no?
I did have one other thing. I'm still trying to get my head around repeating groups, to be honest. I might leave it for tomorrow when it's daylight.
Okay. No worries.
If that's okay.
You're like, are you going? I'm curious. Are you going back to bed? You should go back to sleep.
No. So I'm normally about 5 a.m. is when I get up anyway. So
Okay.
It's just an hour earlier. That's not too bad.
That's not too bad. Speaking of which, Pablo, Ben would like to know when we're gonna start having European office hours.
Let's say next week.
Next week. And did you decide on which days or?
No, we have to talk about that. I don't know yet. Yeah.
Okay, so next week we'll be adding a couple of European time zone office hours, and I'll be in the same boat as you are, Ben. I'll try to get up early to make it. So very cool.
It's about 50% chance that I'll actually be here.
Yeah. So with that, I just want to kind of put it out there to Brittany and Thomas and Ben to start relying on the CoCreative NoCode, soon to be Pro No Coders app, and click there to get the link, because what we're going to do as we start splitting off the responsibilities of office hours is Pablo will use his Zoom link, I'll use mine, and Justin will use his. And the way you will get to the right one is by going and clicking on the correct tile from the members portal in CoCreative NoCode. So if you come at office hours time to this link and it's not working, just go to CoCreative NoCode and click the link there instead. So
when's the actual relaunch and rebrand happening?
Oh, we're working on it actively, so I have no idea. It's taking us a little, how often does this happen? You're like, oh, I can knock that out really fast. And then it takes longer than you think. So I'm in the throes of working on updating the subscriptions with Stripe and in the interface. And I initially built out my own system. I wasn't using Stripe subscriptions, and using Stripe subscriptions, but also prorating the way that I want to prorate is not, it's not a happy story. So I will work it out though. We'll get there. So we're very close. All right. Well, if nobody has anything else for office hours, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
I'm sorry, I have one small question. I signed up for the Discord. How do I even send a message on this thing? Like, it's confusing.
It's very confusing. I had to learn Discord a little bit. I was trying to build an API, like using plugins and build out an integration with Discord and Bubble, and that was a nightmare. But this weekend I had a nightmare because my daughter got caught using Discord when she wasn't supposed to. So I'll stop sharing if you want to share.
Okay.
I will do my best. I will try to help.
Okay, so I just made my account and this is what I'm looking at. I'm like, what is going on here?
Okay. And then are you, so you need to go back to the link, I guess, and click the link from Stripe to join the Stripe Discord.
Oh, this isn't the right one? That's the link I
No,
clicked.
well, yeah, but Discord is a platform. So I don't see, maybe that's it. Maybe that's Stripe. See where the purple
right.
S? Yeah, there you go. Click it.
Okay.
All right. So now you can see all of these people. So they have different.
So I just typed my message in down here where this thing is in the way, but okay. I just didn't know where to go from there, but I'll figure it out. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Well, thank you so much to Thomas and Brittany and Ben and Jay for being here today, and for Pablo and Kim as well. I think we missed one or two people who were trying to sign on. I'll try to figure it out so they can join us on Wednesday. Speaking of, you are watching this live or watching the replay on YouTube, if you would like a complimentary session of CoCreative NoCode's office hours, please email us at team@cocreativenocode.com. Kim and I will get you some credentials. We'd love to meet you and help answer your bubble questions. We'll be back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time for another episode of Office Hours, and I hope to see you there. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Tonya. See you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.